MiamiRollerDerby.com, in conjunction with 247Miami.tv, is proud to present Rink Rash Radio. 60 minutes of everything roller derby in the 305. Visit MiamiRollerDerby.com for more information on upcoming bouts and events. And now, Rink Rash Radio.
Right. Welcome to Rink Rash Radio. I am your host, Shakespeare.
And I'm Amber.
We're from Miami's Vice City Rollers, and we are talking WFTDA Playoffs. Rink Rash Radio, in case you are listening to for the very first time, is a weekly roller derby podcast, and we've got everything you need to know about roller derby in the 305 and beyond. So we're here in the show today, and we are going to be recapping what's going on with WFTDA Playoffs, as well as some predictions for the upcoming games in Dallas. And speaking of Dallas, because Derby does Dallas. Derby does Dallas. I like it. We're going to have Stockholm Roller Derby. We have two skaters. One is Lil Slinky, and she's a huge fan of the show. She actually sent us our very first fan mail. She listens to our show every morning on her morning walks, and she's actually going to be traveling with the Stockholm Roller Derby team for the WFTDA D1 Playoffs in Dallas. And it's the team's second trip to the U.S. this year. They won against the Detroit Derby Girls and Charm City Roller Girls at ECDX. And now they're getting ready for some more action at playoffs. A gardener by trade, Slinky comes from Umea in northern Sweden and has been playing with Stockholm for 3 years. Fun little fact, she loves vegan hot dogs and burgers. I mean, go for it, right? Who doesn't, right? I would have to try it. I don't know about vegan, but we'll go for it. I would try it.
Just no.
You try anything once. According to her team's...
It's a hot dog. You never know what's in it anyway.
Good point. According to her team's page, she loves the people, the pain, skating, of course, and staying healthy and all of the derby love. She doesn't listen to music before a game. She says she does silence and gets into a calm mental space. So we'll have more with her later on. The next guest on the show is going to be Carolyn Thunder. Also from Stockholm. She hails from Gothenburg, Sweden. She's known as Thunder. And she works as a production manager for Slay TV in Sweden. And she was the MVP in the Swedish national team at the World Cup in Dallas. So we're going to have more with them. But first, we've got some stuff going on in Florida today. We got some teams playing. Anger, why don't you break it down for us?
Yeah, we've got the South Florida Roller Girls are playing Fort Myers today at Skate Town, USA, which is 4301 Orange Avenue in Fort Pierce. They're playing, their bout starts at 5.
I get to play.
You get to play?
I get to play.
You're playing today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
For which?
South Florida.
Okay. I'm like, you don't just throw in that you get to play. You gotta tell
I just
me
get to play.
team.
I don't care which team. I just play.
Just go out there
Just
and
play.
I just feel like you put on skates, just skate out there and just like hit people
That's
regardless of team.
Hello, that's awesome. You just hit
We've
people.
actually done that before.
Because when I forgot that I was
no. Like there was actually, we went to it was like a mixed scrimmage that they did a bunch of weird fun things. So they had someone just go in and mess with everyone. But in Elmo costumes.
In Elmo costumes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's different.
It was interesting. A lot of fun. Yeah, so they'll be playing in Fort Pierce. Doors open at 4:30. Bout starts at 5. It's $10 at the door, and children under 5 are free. The other game today is Dub City versus Molly Roger. That's going to be at the Palm Beach Skate Zone, 8125 Lake Worth Road in Lake Worth. Their doors open at 7, and their bout starts at 7:30, and their tickets are $12. So if you want to catch some back-to-back and you're a really fast driver.
Okay, so this is what's going down today. Eric, our photographer, one of the photographers that comes to our games, he's like, I miss Derby. And he messaged me this morning. He's like, I want to go and go shoot the Dub City Molly Roger game. Do you want to come? And I was like, well, I'm actually going to be playing in the South Florida game. Why don't you come with me to that? So our plan is for us to drive up, play, I'll play in South Florida, and then to drive straight from there to the Dub City Molly Roger game.
I think a couple of our fresh meat are thinking about going too. So
okay,
to the Dub City Molly Roger.
Okay, so that's we're gonna haul some major Mustang.
So you're going to do the double derby back.
We're gonna attempt it. I think we're gonna be successful. We're gonna try that out.
if one of you is a crazy driver, I agree with that.
Well, he's driving. He's got a Mustang, so it's on him.
I don't know. I've seen some real slow ass Mustang drivers. You'd be surprised.
Eric is pretty determined. He's a pretty determined guy.
There are people who have muscle cars that do not realize that they are muscle cars. It's like your car was meant to go fast.
So that's what's going down in Florida. South Florida World of Girls versus Fort Myers and Dub City versus Molly Roger today.
See,
double derby. Get some. What else we got?
That's all we've got in Florida. Next, we've got
we've got some playoffs.
Yeah, we've got the WFTDA playoffs.
Both D2 playoff tournaments are over.
Done.
No mas.
Well, minus the championship.
Minus the
but
championship.
The playoffs are done.
Right.
See.
So both D2 playoffs are over. Top contenders have earned their spot.
Right.
And are going to be going to St. Paul, Minnesota.
4 of them.
Minnesota for championships. And it's time for D1. So we had...
D1 has begun.
Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson.
Kicked it off.
Tucson.
Tucson. Come on. There's a C in there.
Silent. C is silent.
So this is the first of 4 weekend tournaments through October 4th.
Well, I'm actually going to do a quick recap for last week first.
Sure. Let me just get through this and then we get right into that. So this is the first of 4 through October 4th. And then from each D1 playoff, the top 3 teams go to Minnesota in November. And this tournament, we're going to have some international teams, which are currently ranked.
Well, we had international teams in D2.
Right. Well, I meant like overall.
Oh, yes.
And one of those teams is Stockholm Roller Derby, which, as we mentioned, we're going to be talking to a couple of their skaters.
From the U.S.
You mean international?
They're from the U.S.
Stockholm?
Yeah. Florida. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
It's so easy. It's so easy.
All right. So why don't you tell us what happened in Tucson?
No. We're recapping Detroit.
Okay, Detroit.
All right. So,
D2? No.
Yeah, this is D2.
D2, Detroit.
D2. So for Detroit, the final 2 turned out to be Nashville in first and Sacred City in second.
Sacred. We had them on before, and they were just an amazing group to talk to, and we were rooting for you the entire way. They ended up in second place. But they'll still be able to go, right?
Yeah, the first 2 teams. So Nashville and
Nashville and Sacred are going off to Minnesota in November
to play Kansas. And
ooh, do you think it'd be Sacred in Kansas?
We'll see.
That would be interesting.
We will see. So for that, there were 4 upsets in that bracket. It was Bear City, which is Berlin, beat Boulder County Bombers. Basically, it was a seed 10 versus a seed 7, and they were like 7 ranks lower, and they still scored 65 points more. So that's pretty bad. That's pretty good. Emerald City versus Chicago.
I heard about that.
Yeah, Chicago beat Emerald City. Chicago's 5 ranks lower, and they scored 20 points more.
That's amazing.
One of the really big ones was Bear City, Berlin, beat Emerald City by 20 points, and they're 14 ranks lower.
Wow, that's a major upset.
So they made the same point difference ahead as Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago's only 5 ranks away. Bear was 14.
All right.
So that was pretty impressive for them. And then Sac City beat Emerald City by 15 points, and they're 9 ranks lower.
Is that like because they're from Sacramento or something? Because I'm wondering where just Sac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sac City.
Like Sacramento.
Sac City.
But is it from Sacramento?
No, it's from Sac City.
There's a Sac City? Okay. I was just curious if there was an actual place named Sac. I mean,
there probably is.
Sacramento, you know?
There probably is. There's places, weird names all over. So the closest win was actually the last game with Nashville beating Sacred by 5 points. Basically, that last jam started with Sacred ahead. Right. All they had to do was just get lead and hold it. And their jammer went to the box.
Oh, penalty.
The whistle blew. They started to skate. Jammer went to the box.
Bummer. Hey, those jammer penalties, man. You got to watch those.
And then
those will give you the other team a power jam, and then and then all of a sudden you got a 15-point.
Well, that's what helped Nashville win.
Yep.
The biggest win was Emerald City over the Brew City Bruisers by 128 points. So that was the biggest city. The biggest
win.
City?
The biggest city.
The biggest city
is what was the big city again? The biggest city?
The biggest city is 128 points. I'll go along with it. I don't care. So our highlight games was Chicago versus Emerald. Like we were saying, it was one of the upsets. Basically, both teams just went on scoring runs throughout the game, but and Emerald scored like 33 points before Chicago even earned 10.
Wow.
But by the end of the half, they put that lead down to just 5.
Ooh,
and in the second half, they had a power jam that led to a 16-point lead
by Emerald
for Chicago.
Oh, for Chicago.
Which basically they just kept that up, and that's what helped them win for that second half. So yeah, for them, it was mostly just and Emerald had a foul out for one of their skaters as well, whereas Chicago did not. So that could have been it as well.
Yeah, man. So, if people can actually watch these games. So if you go back into the archives at wftda.tv, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, once the playoffs are actually, or once
usually by the middle of the week after the playoffs, by like the Wednesday after, and sometimes even sooner, the WFTDA has them on the archives already.
Right. So when you're paying to watch, like as it happens
live.
So you'd be the first to find out what happened.
In the know.
And then in a few days after that, you can catch the archive on wftda.tv. So if you want to go back and watch these games
or rewatch these games,
you can.
The second sequence is the Bear City win over Emerald City, which was another upset, where Bear City just opened up a lead with one of their top jammers, Master Blaster, who scored 74 points in the first half.
Nice.
By herself.
What?
In one jam. No, I'm just kidding. that would be interesting. And then after that, they kept it really close. But there was no way after that 74-point lead that they were going to get anywhere.
So what was that? Just like 2 or 3 power jams in a row or something? Like what? 74 points. That's insane.
She just got a really early lead. They just couldn't hold her. And they kept holding the other one. So she went for 74 points in a 2-minute jam. No. I was joking about the one jam.
Oh,
it was in the first half.
I was gonna say, holy shit.
No. I was joking about the one jam. It was in the first half. She scored 74 points.
Okay. Which is still.
Yeah, she scored 139 points out of their 236. So that was not bad.
A little more than half.
Yeah, over half. So
Master Blaster, remember that.
Surprisingly, they had 2 foul outs each, so 4 foul outs total. So it's not like one team had more foul outs than the other. It was pretty even.
I've been fouled out once. I fouled out when we played Jacksonville, and then it was like not just me. It was me, Naughty, Divine. I think V at some point also fouled out. There was like 5 of us that fouled out in one game. It was pretty incredible. Why are you giving me that face?
Because I don't think I've even ever gotten more than 3 penalties a game. And generally I keep that down to like 1 max.
Yeah, no, I don't frequently get penalties like that, but that was just an interesting match where like 5 of us fouled out. It was just everyone took their skates off. Like 5 or 6.
And then the last game that was obviously the biggest thing to go over was the Nashville Sacred City final.
Right.
Which Sacred got that lead at the beginning. Going into the beginning of the last jam, going in, she had a 5-point lead, but she got called on their jammer got called on a forearm penalty.
Tell me about forecloser. The forecloser.
The forecloser.
Is that what you're speaking of?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was Ariella Twister. Yeah.
Say that again.
Ariella Twister. Yes, I know. Her name gives me chills and makes me want to hold my boobs.
Yep.
So yeah, she was one of their top jammers. Her and Pink Floyd were the top jammers for Sacred City. And Chelsea Dagger, Phantom Power, and Lady Fury were the top for Nashville. And basically, Sacred City had 4 foul outs. And 2 of them, yeah, and Nashville had none. And 2 of them happened, like they all happened in the second half, but like 2 or 3 of them happened. It was Jam 31, Jam 33, Jam 35.
One right after the other.
So it was like you could lose one, 2 jams later you lose another, 2 jams later you lose
those penalties made a real difference.
Neil and Weep fouled out in Jam 40.
Oh, Weepy.
So I was near the end, but yeah, there was a foul out by Neil and Weep. So basically from our predictions,
ooh, I like this part.
no one got anything right.
Oh,
no one
ouch.
got anything right. The one that was the closest to getting things like one off, was me.
Oh.
I was one off on about 6 of my predictions.
All right.
Same with Chief. He was one off on his 6 of his predictions, and then Flat Track Stats was one off on 5. So the final seed ranks for Cleveland? No, Detroit. Were Nashville, Sacred City, Naptown came in 3rd, Chicago 4th, Wasatch came in 5th, Bear City 6th, Sac City 7th, Emerald City 8th, Boulder 9th, and Brew City 10th.
Nice.
So the biggest
top 2 or the top 3 go?
It's the top 2 for D2 and the top 3 for D1.
Okay.
So Nashville and Sacred City will move on.
Nice.
3 of them.
Congrats, Sacred.
Yeah. 3 of them actually stayed where they were. Like if they came in
right, they didn't
as
move
number
up or
4, they stayed as number 4. Yeah. And that was Wasatch. Wait. Yeah, no. I'm only seeing 1. I'm sorry. I wrote that wrong. The only one. Oh, no. Nashville and Sacred City. Nashville, Sacred City. Yeah. Nashville was 1st, stayed in 1st. Sacred was 2nd, stayed in 2nd. And Wasatch was 5th, stayed in 5th.
Okay.
And the biggest changes was Emerald City went from seed 3 to seed 8.
Oh.
And Bear City, Berlin, kind of came in and blew everyone away and went from seed 10 to seed 6.
Nice.
So that was pretty interesting.
Go Berlin.
Yeah.
We have some more international talk because we're going to be talking to Stockholm Roller Derby with Lil Slinky, who wrote us our very first fan mail. I'm so proud of that moment. It just, it just kind of, sends you some good vibes from, and I remember Lewis and I, we were looking at the back end of some stuff and we're seeing who is watching us in Sweden. There's this somebody's watching us in Sweden for like 30 minutes. Like, who is that person? And lo and behold, it was Lil Slinky from Stockholm Roller Derby who sent us a message saying she listens to us on her morning walks every Saturday, and that was just amazing. So
now you know who listens.
And now we know, and we got her on the show, which is even better.
What? Crazy.
But before that, we've got some more WFTDA Playoffs talk.
Yeah, we've got the updates.
We got the updates
this weekend in Tucson.
If you were watching, can you say that one more time?
Tucson.
Okay.
Tucson. Pretend that C is not there.
I don't know. It's Spokane. I kept saying Spokane. I mean, it's just, I read literally.
What that doesn't work in English. Spanish, yes.
Well,
English, no.
Swedish, there's some interesting phrases here. I'll go more into those later. I'm going to try to find some fun ones. But how are we doing? Yep, we're ready for one. All right, so we're gonna hold that thought on the breakdown or the recap for Tucson.
Here we go.
Tucson, Arizona. And stay tuned for more Rink Rash Radio. We're going to be talking Tucson D1 Playoffs, and we're going to be also talking a little bit more about Stockholm Roller Derby. So stay tuned for more Rink Rash Radio.
Hello, everybody. George. You what you can expect on 247miami.tv. How about the 305 Nuts? My show, The George West Show, The Dirty Laundry, The Fantasy Frauds, Metal and Mayhem, plus the best DJs Miami has to offer. You can find it all right here on 247miami.tv, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Try to get a deal like that anywhere else. Afraid you just can't do it. Only here, 247miami.tv.
I'm Carnage. I'm Sally Jones. I'm Rex. I'm Livid Doll. We're from Leeds Roller Dolls, and you're listening to Rink Rash Radio.
Hi, I'm the Forecloser. And I'm Shock. I'm City Girls, and you're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv. Miami? Are you fucking kidding me? Miami?
Welcome back to Rink Rash Radio. And Lewis, Can you just play that one more time for everyone? Because that's just so freaking amazing. Last show, we had the Fort Closer and Shock from Sacred City.
And Neil and Wayne.
Well, actually, she did not record on this part,
Well,
but she was on. She was
the
on.
show.
She
That's
was
what
on
I'm
the
saying.
show.
You said last time we had on.
Yes, she was on the show, and the Shock and Fort Closer recorded this clip, and I just love hearing it. So let's just play one more time.
Hi, I'm the forecloser, and I'm Shock. I'm Secret City Sheriff Girls, and you're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 24/7 Miami.tv. Miami? Are you fucking kidding me? Miami?
Now there was a debate whether we should bleep that out or not, but that was a shout. Our thank you so much, Sacred City, for sending that for us. And we've got some more WFTDA playoffs before we kick into talking to Stockholm Roller Derby. Anger, take it away.
Well, at Tucson.
Yeah, not Tucson.
We've got so far the games that have happened were Terminal City versus Tri-City, where Terminal took the win 328-90. Go Terminal.
Holy shit.
Because I love Terminal. They're from Canada. Arizona lost to Mad Rollin' Dolls 171-221. Mad Rollin' Dolls. Arch rival beat Team United 241-76.
And Team United is from somewhere down under, isn't it? Aren't they from like Australia or England or something? They're an international team, I believe.
Well, while you figure that out,
I'm gonna figure that out.
Bay Area Derby Girls beat Terminal City, which made me sad. 251-77.
Oh no, I was totally wrong.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure they're
Des Moines,
local. Yeah,
Des Moines, Iowa. That's
it's
what I.
Team United Roller Derby.
Yes,
Which, if you put into acronyms,
is what? TURD. Turd.
Oh! That's why no one likes it when their name is I don't know. Maybe they do like it. I don't know. I just remember one time.
I don't think they thought that one through.
Maybe they did.
Maybe they did.
Maybe that was intentional. I don't know. I just know one time I shortened it and it was turd. And I was just like,
turd.
oh.
It took me a sec, but I got it. All right.
Victorian beat Mad Rollin' Dolls 404-33.
That's my. If there ever was a team I crushed on, the entire team, it would be Victorian. I think I'm not the only one. I think there's a lot of people that crush on Victorian.
Well, they came out really strong last year. No one was really looking at them, and then they just kind of whipped it out last year.
They whipped it out.
They whipped it out, and now everyone's got their eye on them, and they've really had a strong season. So, and I mean, a 404-33 win is pretty impressive.
And those are the ones from Australia.
Yeah, Victorian is from Australia.
Yeah.
That one I knew. Rocky Mountain beat Charm City. Sad because I'm wearing my Charm City shirt today. 324-125.
Wow.
So coming up today, it's at 10 a.m. their time, which I think is Mountain Time, which I think is like 1 p.m. our time.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Arizona versus Team United. After that is Tri-City versus Charm City, followed by Arch Rival versus Bay Area, followed by Terminal City versus whoever wins Game 7, Mad Rollin', whoever wins Game 8, and finally at 8 p.m. their time is Victorian versus Rocky Mountain.
Okay, so based on what just happened yesterday
See?
and what's happened today.
Well, nothing's happened today yet.
Okay. Good point. It is early. Where do you see the top 3 teams being? What do you see the top 3?
I mean, my initial...
Have they changed?
Well, Terminal City and Charm City are not going to make it to second and third. So, but even when I said my predictions last year, last year,
we're going back to
when we
2014.
didn't have a show. Last week, I even said like my number 2 and number 3 were Terminal City and followed by Charm City, and it was a wish list more than a actual prediction.
Okay.
So it's probably going to be either. First is almost definitely going to be Victorian,
of course. Bay Area.
The next ones are either going to be Arch Rival, Bay Area, or Rocky Mountain.
Okay.
Any of those 3 will probably be in the top 3.
Yeah.
I know Chief and Flat Track Stats predicted that Arch Rival would be second and Bay Area third. So we'll see how that pans out. But Rocky Mountain has been fairly strong as well.
Nice.
So, and since they're in Colorado, I have to cheer for them.
Go Rocky Mountain, which we found out last night. Apparently, we've all lived in Colorado at some point.
At some point.
Well, you, me, and Michelle.
At some point.
Michelle, she said she was from Aurora.
I don't know if
She lived in Aurora.
Yeah.
I lived in Fort Collins for a few years. And you're from?
I was born in Fort Carson.
There you go. So go Colorado. We should all be rooting for him.
We should. Everyone cheer for Denver. Everyone. So that's the Tucson update.
Not Tucson.
Yes, not Tucson. Tucson.
Whenever you're ready.
And the Dallas predictions.
Okay. Dallas predictions for WFTDA playoffs are.
Are you kidding? Hang on.
I'm doing a drum roll.
My computer's being stupid.
As her computer's being stupid, we're doing a drum roll. Drum roll. I can't do a drum roll for much longer without
Yes,
it
you
being
can.
super awkward.
Yes, you can. Why do I not have?
All right, so we're gonna break for a second, and then we'll be back with
While I fix
some
my computer.
predictions while Anger fixes her
Stupid
computer. So stay tuned for a little more Rink Rash Radio.
You're listening to Rink Rash Radio here on 247miami.tv. We also have other shows on the network, which is the Fantasy Frauds. We have Al Simbaco giving you all the predictions for fantasy football. That'll be on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. We have Capes and Co-hosts, where you can hear everything about the comic books and what's happening in the MCU, in the DC universe, everywhere. All that stuff, you can listen to it on 24/7 Miami on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock. Also, Urban Sports Take. It's just as the name says, it's an urban take on what's happening in the world of sports. There is no filter. There is no filter, and they will say anything, but it's the truth. And when you hear it, you'll have a great time. And that's a
Does that make it urban?
Yes, it's a new episode every Tuesday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and a rebroadcast at 7 o'clock here on 24/7 Miami Radio.
So where do people go to find these shows and listen to them?
At www.247miami.tv. Also, you can catch, of course, the previous episodes here of Rink Rash Radio. So you can watch other episodes and all that here on 24/7 Miami. And don't forget, folks, later on, we're going to have the female perspective.
Ooh, what are they talking about this week?
Last week, I have to check out this week what they have, but last week they had, they're talking about sex, and other episodes on parenting, other episodes on divorce.
And look, we have actually the producer of the female perspective who's going to tell us what they had on last week and what they might be happening this week.
Well, they were off last week, actually.
Or last time.
Last time, I believe it was dating and sex. That's what it was. And, to follow sex, of course, today we're going to be talking about trauma.
Ooh.
With all the stuff that you've been seeing in the news.
Yes, the serial
kids
thing.
that have been, you're seeing the drownings. And
so sad.
The newspaper, the assassination on live television. Haven't had one of those since Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right. Those reporters, the two reporters.
Exactly. So they're going to be talking about different kinds of trauma and, how to deal with it and, give out some phone numbers. Hopefully help some people.
And they'll catch that on 247miami.tv right after Rink Rash Radio.
That is correct.
All right. Thank you, George.
And now we're going to get back with the ladies of Rink Rash Radio here on 247miami.tv.
By skaters, for skaters. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
And we're back to Rink Rash Radio. This is the segment where we're going to be talking to Stockholm Roller Derby. But first, we're going to be getting some predictions in about this week's next week's with the playoffs. So if you've been watching the WFTDA playoffs, because of course we're talking Derby, in this show, which is a weekly roller derby podcast. If you're just tuning in, we were recapping last weekend's playoffs, and now we're going to be doing some predictions for the Dallas playoffs, which actually features Stockholm Roller Derby. They're going to be playing in that game. Who we're all going to have two of their guests on in just a few moments. From Stockholm Roller Derby, we have Lil Slinky and Carol and Thunder. But first, we're going to talk about the predictions. Anger's going to break it down for us. Break down, Anger.
Yeah, so my electronics are being crappy. So I've only got his predictions, which is Chiefs predictions.
Bring it down.
So his predictions are Rose City coming in first because they're in the top seed for that. And so far in the last year, the only teams they've lost to is Gotham, who they lost to in the last WFTDA championships, but they were probably one of the closest teams to beating Gotham in a very long time. Like, it was down to the last jam.
Who almost beat them?
Rose City.
Nice.
It was down to almost the last jam.
Okay.
And the other team that they lost to is London.
Okay.
So considering
and London's been kicking some major ass.
Yeah. But considering that neither of those teams are in this bracket, their chances of losing are pretty low. Because they've beat Texas at the Big O, and and Texas is in this bracket, and so they're probably just gonna cream everyone in this. So they're probably gonna come out first. Texas is his prediction for the second one, which
of course, Texas, which we've had Jackie Daniels on.
For me, I would also put them as second, but just because I love them so much. They've just got a strong team. I mean, they went undefeated at the Golden Bowl and have only lost to the top 5 teams since May. So
they've got a really good shot.
So yeah, they've got a good shot. I mean, they've got Jackie Daniels, they've got Smarty Pants. I think Fifi Nomenon is with Texas. They're stacked. They've got some strong players on their team, and they're just really,
those are top skaters.
They're really good with teamwork as well. So they've got some good teamwork. The other team,
which I've noticed, just to pause for a second, which I've noticed in some of the recaps from Derby Central, that's one of the things that made the difference in a lot of these games is their teamwork. A lot of players are out there playing by individuals and on their own, and that's where they're like getting broken up really easily. Yeah. Which is
like always kind of happened. So, but I know Texas has really good teamwork.
So that'll be something to watch out for sure.
Philly is his prediction for number 3. And even then, they might be pretty close to beating Texas because they're going to be some stiff competition for them. But with Texas, I mean, they've got a strong team and they've got strong teamwork. So it's likely that Texas will come out on top, but we'll see. His prediction for number 4 is Stockholm, because Stockholm is awesome. Yes, number 4. His prediction for number 4.
No, 4 minutes. But yes, number 4. Stockholm, which we'll be talking to in just a few.
Yeah. And actually his prediction for that is he even says, I would love to see Stockholm pull off the upset here, but they have not yet faced this level of competition. So they'll fight hard against Philly, but we'll see what happens. Philly may ultimately come out on top because they're used to facing this kind of competition, but Stockholm could bring in the upset.
Well, let's ask him about it.
So we'll see with that.
Okay.
After that, we've got Dallas Derby Devils coming in 5th. He's got Rat City coming in 6th. I'm seeing the opposite in my mind, but apparently they hold 6 wins, 6 losses this season.
Okay.
Or 6 out of 6 wins. I'm not sure. It's a 6-6 record. Going into playoffs, they're on a bit of a downswing since they had a close loss to Terminal City last month. Yeah, so I'm thinking 6 wins, 6 losses. So Dallas will be tough against Rat City, but they should be able to pull it off. For 7th and 8th place, he's got Crime City beating I have no idea how to pronounce this. Rideau, Rideau Valley Roller Girls.
Rideau? Who knows?
I thought I had it wrong last time, and then I didn't, but I'm almost positive I have it wrong this time.
If you know how to pronounce this team, please tweet at us at Rink Rash Radio or send us a little comment there on Periscope. Tell us what you think that should be pronounced as. So Rideau?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it should be a close game, but Crime City should bring out the win. And then for 9th and 10th, it'll be probably Ohio Roller Girls in 9th and Sun State Roller Girls in 10th. Oh, apparently it's pronounced Rido.
Okay, there we go. Rido.
And for the last, Ohio versus Sun State holds a better record, but doesn't have a win over top higher competition. So Ohio might be able to take this spot.
So to recap,
Rose City, Texas, Philly, Stockholm, Dallas, Rat City, Crime City, Rido, Ohio, and Sun State.
All right, and you can catch all of the action on wftda.tv. You could either pay for the weekend pass, or if you have a package for D1, you can
there's a package for D1 where you can just get
D1.
everything.
And then a few days after that, it should be available on archive on wftda.tv for you to watch. And we'll be continuously talking about the playoffs next week, recapping the previous weeks and predicting the following weeks. This week, we actually have Stockholm Roller Derby on the line. They're actually going to be playing in Dallas next weekend. So we're going to be talking to them. We're going to talk to Lil Slinky and Carolyn Thunder, who are from Stockholm. So they're predicted to be number 4 in Dallas, but we'll get their take on that. According to Chief.
But he's hoping for 3.
Well, we are pulling for their win. We've picked 2 winners. Let's see if we can pick a third. So stay tuned for more Rink Rash Radio with Stockholm Roller Derby.
Hello, everybody. George West here to tell you what you can expect on 247miami.tv. How about the 305 Nuts? My show, The George West Show, The Dirty Laundry, The Fantasy Frauds, Metal and Mayhem, plus the best DJs Miami has to offer. You can find it all right here on 247miami.tv, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Try to get a deal like that anywhere else. Afraid you just can't do it. Only here, 247miami.tv.
Octavio, yo, Doc Ock. What? Get your together. We gotta go. Go where? We're moving. Did you hear the memo? We're moving to Wednesdays. Wednesdays? Yes, we're moving to Wednesdays at 7. Get your together. Put John and Ricky in the box. We gotta go. Okay. Get me out of here.
That's right. The Royo Show is moving now to Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, only on 247miami.tv.
There has been some resistance. I think it's because, women finally found a sport to call their own. We have basketball and football. I mean, girls are coming to that, but we've started it and, we kind of made it our thing. So, women finally found something to call their own. And I think they just feel like some of us are trying to come in and to take over it, but we don't want to take over it. We're trying to follow your footsteps because we aspire to be you guys.
Well, I had reffed for a local team back in Tennessee and then started helping out with Nashville and learning a lot of stuff reffing from Major Woody. and we ended up meeting up online and then met through a bunch of close derby friends, and one thing led to another, and now she's my wife.
We've done that, and it was phenomenal. They brought us into their little banquet rooms that they have for events, and we skated around that, and we scuffed up their floor really bad, but they loved it. We gave them like a jolt when we went and did a tomahawk in front of them. Oh my God, it was the best.
By skaters, for skaters. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
All right, and we're back with Rink Rash Radio. We've got Stockholm Roller Derby on the line today, and we are so excited to have them because Lil Slinky actually messaged us from Stockholm Roller Derby, and apparently she'd been watching our show every week on her morning walks. So we really appreciate her for that. Thank you for being a fan. She and Carolyn Thunder are going to be traveling to the WFTDA D1 Playoffs next weekend in Dallas. So they're going to be making an international trip. It's the team's second visit to the U.S. this year. They beat Detroit Derby Girls and Charm City at ECDX. And now they're gunning for some more action at the playoffs in Dallas. Slinky is a gardener. She hails from Umea. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, in northern Sweden, and has been playing with Stockholm for 3 years. Loves everything outdoors, especially vegan hot dogs and burgers. According to her team's page, she loves the people, the pain of derby, skating, of course, staying healthy, and all the derby love. Interesting fact, she doesn't listen to music before a game. She does silence and gets into a calm mental space. So we'll talk with her a little bit more about that. Carolyn Thunder is from Gothenburg, Sweden. She works as a production manager for Slay TV, and she was the MVP in the Swedish national team at the World Cup in Dallas. So they're on Skype with us today, and now I can see you. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
All right, and I'm going to just show you guys on camera real quick so our listeners or people who are tuning into Periscope can actually see you guys. It's okay. No worries. All right. So we're excited to have you guys on the show. Now, Lil Slinky, can you tell us how you heard about Rink Rash? Because I'm just curious.
Yeah, I actually go around on the internet and Google like roller derby stuff, and then I just Googled roller derby podcast.
Nice. And that's how you found us. And so you mentioned that you listen to us on your morning walks. So just because I don't know, maybe my headphones or maybe those big headphones need to be brought in, but I'm curious as to like what you've seen the progression of the show to be and what you like the most about it.
Yeah, at first it was kind of Florida based.
Yes.
And it was still good because it was roller derby and I love everything roller derby. But then like it went along and became really like global. I really liked it.
Nice.
The interviews are great.
And now we have you from Sweden, you know, who are going to be coming down to Dallas next weekend. And we're really excited to have you guys on. So just so you could see me, that's probably better than staring into a blank camera. So what I know that we've got some predictions. Anger broke it down. That's Anger. And so what are you guys excited about for Dallas?
Oh my God, everything. We like literally started laughing and like almost crying when you guys said we were ranked 4 or like predicted.
We're hoping you're 3. I mean, it literally says here, hope they pull the upset. Like we're hoping for at the very
don't
least
listen
3.
to us. Don't listen to us.
But I mean, we've been terribly,
we don't know what we're talking about.
We've been terribly wrong and watched things go way different. So I mean, if you come out 1, that would be pretty cool.
Oh, it would be more than cool. We're definitely rooting for you guys, and we can't wait to see some action. So if you want to just tell us a little bit about your background, tell our listeners where you're from and maybe how you got into derby and what's it like to play in Stockholm.
Should I start? Okay. I'm from Gothenburg, and I haven't really done any sports before. I just kind of fell into roller derby by, I don't know, saw it in the like newspaper.
You wanted a cool sport.
I wanted a cool sport, yeah. And I was new to Stockholm, so I came there and then like immediately fell in love, and I was really, really, really bad in the beginning.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Bambi on skates.
Yeah. What?
Bambi on skates.
And then like after half a year, I think I started to practice alone with Slinky, and we just like hit it off, and yeah.
All right, because on top of you guys being so awesome, you're actually derby wives.
Yeah.
Which for people that don't know, derby wife, it just means like you're basically, your best friend or your sister, in derby, the one that's got your back. Yeah. And you would definitely describe that as your guys' relationship, right?
Yeah. She books all my tickets traveling.
I need someone to do that.
Yeah.
So how would you say you look out for one another, or maybe what are some instances where you've like helped each other out or supported one another?
I don't know, like every day. I don't
every day
we do
something. Every single day.
Every single day she brings me like snacks after
derby wives bring each other snacks, people.
Yeah, and gives me like presents with the small like thunderbolts on them, and
because you're thunder. It's awesome.
I want your derby wife.
I have a question.
We got a question from Louis, the producer.
Yeah, tell us how is Derby over there in Stockholm? How is the scene over there for that?
It's really kind of getting big. We have 4 teams in our league. We have the A team, the B team, and the C team, and also a junior team started like in the last year. And we have also 2 leagues, like official leagues. We have the Stockholm, the Royal Swedish Roller Derby. That's and also we have kind of an unofficial Rainbow Warriors that's just started practicing on a like more playful level. So it's really big in Stockholm.
So was it difficult to set up a team, or to join the team, or how is it over there? Like if someone's in Stockholm and they want to join the team, what process would they have to go through?
We usually have one tryout every year to get into our fresh meet, but we won't have that this year because we have a problem with like getting venues. So we have to share like 3 spots every week with 3 teams. So
wow, that's that's actually pretty common, I would say, in Derby is getting venues and sharing it with other, whether it's another team, which or it might be another like
sport altogether.
Another sport. Like we share our hockey rink here in Miami, we share it with a hockey team. So we got to split our practice times and stuff. So we totally get that, and I think one of the hardest things for us is just like actually getting people to know about Derby. Like Derby, isn't as popular as other sports like basketball or football or whatever. So that's
especially in Miami where basketball reigns supreme.
Right, because Miami Heat, so that's cool. So what do you guys? So tell us about Dallas. How are you preparing for Dallas? What's your thought process? Are you visualizing anything? Are you amping up your physical routine? Like how are you preparing mentally or physically for this tournament?
We have been like putting up the intensity to 100% lately. Yeah, so it's gonna be so much fun to go and play other teams instead of like beating each other up. Like we have like miniature boot camps at the last weekends. So we'll be having practices like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And
wow.
Really all out. And we have been having meetings. And I guess off skate, everybody takes like a personal responsibility. We have we are expected to take care of our bodies outside of Derby too because of injuries and stuff.
Well, when you mean off skates, you mean like training.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So like I know I do CrossFit outside of Derby. So what are some off skates training that you guys usually pick up on?
We have been going to this small like functional fit gym that's called Good to Go, which is basically like we can fit like 10 people in that like training hall. Yeah. So it's basically only roller derby girls, and she makes practice fit our sport.
She's
nice
rugby coach, I think. I mean, she's been playing rugby, so she's really, and also martial arts. So we have sometimes like fighting fit, and she's like really she's doing the practices for roller derby in the thought.
Well, rugby would be a good thing to get it from because they're one of the few really heavy contact sports as well.
Doing some like hitting and drive like on pads.
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah. It's so fun.
That was the other sport I was going to do if I didn't do roller derby. When I was first thinking about it, it was either roller derby or rugby.
Yeah, I'm thinking like if I quit derby, I want to do rugby.
Yeah, because it's kind of similar except you're running instead of skating.
Yeah.
I hate running. I wouldn't want to do that. I like skates.
Let's do that actually.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So Dallas, you got that coming up. You've bought your tickets.
Yeah.
Or your derby wife bought your tickets, Slinky. And so what are your teammates saying? What are they excited about when it comes to this tournament?
I think it's just big that it's the first time we go to playoffs.
I mean, our 2015 goal was to come into D2. So
you crushed that.
D1.
Yeah.
Surprise.
So we're basically just going there to like see what happens. Like we're gonna have fun. That's the main goal. and then obviously we want to like place really good, but it's secondary because that was not our 2015 goal.
So even if you place 10th, you would be happy.
Yeah.
No, they're not going to be happy. They're competitive.
I was going to say, you guys probably won't place 10th. That's fine.
Be happy if we get like 6th, 5th,
4th,
one. But I think that if we place under 6th, I think
we will be disappointed.
Yeah, we would. Yeah.
So what if you place 1st though? Because I mean, you already surpassed your goal of going to D2 by going to D1. So I mean, if your goal is to be like 5th to 4th, and then what if you came out like 3rd to 1st?
Yeah, that would be
just like one more boost to be like, okay, we thought we were at this level, but we surprised ourselves a lot. It's so hard to know when you don't play American teams that often.
Which is actually a really good point. So this is you know, one of the first times that or only a few times that you've played in the US, right? This is your 3rd time into the US. Yeah. You know, what's it like playing with Swiss teams versus playing with American teams?
Swedish teams.
I meant that. That's what I meant.
I mean, we have really good competition in Sweden. Obviously, we have Malmö coming to to Dallas too.
Exactly.
And we play them like 1 or 2, at least 2 times a year.
Yeah, we won against them in Swedish champs this year, 3rd time.
So in Sweden, I mean, Malmö is the only competition that is on the same level, but it's a really they're really, really good. Yeah. So
we have in Europe, we have London. We haven't played them yet, but we want to. But I mean, Glasgow, Rink, Berlin, Helsinki. There's like just an hour, 2 hours away with a flight to Helsinki, and Helsinki are really good.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think Helsinki was even at Beach Brawl.
Yeah, exactly. No,
it was
Prime City was Beach Brawl. Helsinki was to the Big O.
Big O. Okay, I'm sorry.
They did really good.
Yeah.
So playing against you know, those teams versus an American team, is there like, what's the difference for you guys?
I think the main difference is that in Europe we kind of know their style because we play the same. And we also know the players and the strategies, so we know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
When we come to the US, it's totally different. Like when we played Charm and Detroit and Montreal, it was all like, we have no idea how this is going to go. And then after like 10 minutes, we're like, fuck, we're going to win.
Like, watch it, but it doesn't tell the whole story. It's so such a different thing to like feel a hit and to see a hit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it depends on which team you're playing.
So just like in terms of gameplay, like, would you say that, you know, is the international teams that you're playing, like, are they faster? Do they play a faster gameplay, and here it's a slower game? Like, what exactly would be the difference in the gameplay?
Something I'm thinking about is it feels like in Europe, the skating skills are kind of really high.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, if Scandinavia is like if it's ice skating, or if it's, we have to be kind of creative we have to like set really high goals because we don't know which level we're gonna meet when we play. So we really have to push ourselves and take it really, really seriously to go to US, because it's a really expensive thing to do too.
Right. And you guys are you guys raising money to be able to come down? Or is your team like fundraising right now, or is it, you know, how are you guys preparing to get to the States?
We've had a couple of fundraisers, and we've had a summer boot camp where like fresh meat-ish can come and practice with us.
Nice.
And then we have an Indiegogo up where we're like auctioning out stuff like postcards and Snapchats and T-shirts and
That's so cool. That's so cool. So where would people go to find that if they want to support Switzerland or Stockholm Roller Derby? God damn it.
I'm not sure it's still live. Is that?
I think it may have already been taken down.
Oh, darn it. Well, we do support you 100%. We can't wait for you guys to go kick some American booty and just and go beyond your expectations. And we are not only huge fans of you guys, but we're so grateful that you guys are fans of ours. And so we absolutely love that you're on the show. Lil Slinky, thank you so much for reaching out. Like, you have no idea how much your fan mail made like our day. You know, it made my entire year. You know, to know that somebody out there is listening to us all the way from Stockholm. So thank you guys.
And I really hope you enjoy listening to yourself on your next morning walk.
Much derby love for you guys. We wish you the best. Thank you again so much for being on the show. And you can't wait to, you know, to follow you in Dallas.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Talk to you. And that was Rink Rash Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Rink Rash Radio. Tweet us your comments about this week's show. And next week we'll be talking about Dallas. Let's see how Stockholm did and if they can go beyond what they expect. So stay tuned, or not stay tuned, because we are over, but we will be talking next week about Dallas. Thank you guys.